There's nothing there. It's nothing.
No, wait, I heard something. It's sort of a whistling. You know, like a You didn't hear it? It's like a
It doesn't matter. It's nothing.
Oh, come on, don't be an idiot. You heard it too. Wait, there it is. Oh, no, wait.
I didn't mean there wasn't something. It's just a sound, a noise. Cars make noises. Some detritus trapped in a vent. I don't care. It's nothing, all right? It's nothing.
Look at him. What the fuck? Look at him. Break it down. The fuck is he? What's he talking to? Talk. Just wants to pretend to. God, what did she? Damn, man. I'm with her. We're making for hours. Man, one night a week with her. I don't know. Wake up in the morning after I'm sleeping and being weird. Just moaning those happy that drive quiet. What's wrong with him? Goddamn, I fucking hate his goddamn guts. His fucking shit sucking goddamn cops. Fucking pagans. One of the fucking guts. The backside. God, look at him. His right. I fucking hate his fucking shit sucking goddamn cops. On the shoe like the fucking guts. Those guts. Remember her face, being able to remember her face. Why can't I ever remember her face? I said the face and brought home the next morning thinking, remembering her, able to remembering her face and not skin. Why can't I even remember her face? So soft and stuff. Don't say anything. Just don't say anything. It's fucking practicing against on this car. All you want to do is talk. Say anything at all. You'd like me to start if I don't say anything. If I wouldn't start, just don't say anything for one quiet talk. This commute is breaking out. What's wrong with that? Nothing. There's nothing. Just nothing wrong. It's something. There's nothing. It's nothing. And there's something. God, look at him. What the fuck is wrong? Could you watch out on her? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right. There's nothing wrong. It's nothing. There's something. There's nothing. Like fuck. If only she liked my body. If only she liked being close. Why didn't you just fuck her once and then walk out? What are you? Damn it. If only she liked my body. What's wrong with her? If only she liked sex with her. You just fuck her once and come in her. Come. What is he wrong? God damn it. Fuck spark. Maybe she wants to move in the universe. It's okay to do that. What the hell's wrong with him? What the hell? What the what? Maybe she'd be the one woman in the universe. Him, her, God, fuck, shit, cockser, God, ass, pig, motherfucking bastard, cunt, don't say anything, don't call, walk out, come here, wrong, cunt, what the hell, what the hell,
What? What the hell's wrong with you?
See anything? I can't believe you haven't taken care of this.
What is ahead of us is the same as what is behind us. like to listen to a tape?
No.
We could listen to a tape. How is it going with that pallid and passionless pseudo-affair that you sometimes refer to as a relationship?
You know, I am really sorry I ever told you anything about that. I'm really sorry.
You've gone on and on about it before, and you will go on and on about it again.
You just want more human material, that's all.
In general, I in fact note an excess of human material.
You just want to hear yourself speak. You don't really give a shit.
You're right. I have absolutely no interest in you as an individual. My interest is purely anthropological. Come on, we should just talk, take your mind off things.
I don't feel like it.
There's no tonic for a broken heart better than treating one's emotions as an experimental result. Attack me for refusing to take the freeway. I know you enjoy that. Yes, things are really moving forward for me. Fun is dead, long live nothing at all. Rambo and Born on the 4th of July were actually the same movie. You are having a very satisfying, fulfilling relationship with a beautiful, sensitive, caring, supportive woman. Look how you're dressed. If you don't have a wardrobe, you have a shell. An exoskeleton. God knows what fluid would spill, what stink would rise up from you if you were crushed. I know you think I'm the insect. Humanity starts with the family, happiness starts with the other dogs. You and I can sit in a car together day after day, going to work together and coming home together, refusing to will anything other than our going to work together, coming home together, until it comes to an end for reasons with which we have nothing to do. Then, if we can just maintain this reality without going insane, without reverting back to our separateness, then I take it back. If everyone could take back everything they wanted to, there wouldn't be anything left. Yep, things are really moving forward for me. Traffic's thin today, too thin. It's unfortunate, really. There's so much to talk about. Apple and IBM, multiplicitous nature of consciousness, radio playlists, boredom, space emigration, the fate of sympathetic men, evolution in the war between the sexes, pornography, AIDS as resource. Or would you care for some samples of decadent poetry? Thoughts on temporary work as spiritual vocation? On spontaneity as artifice? On the white man in art? On breaking up with a lover? All right, I've got a new one. You're eager to hear it. Football. Football is a sport in which 11 men seek to punish one man for reaching between the legs. The two transgressors separate while their friends seek to protect the first man, others fighting alongside the second man, others running away. The ball, or symbol of tainted phallus, tainted sexuality, in shape half round ball, half pointed penis, brown in colour, usually remains in the hands of the first man for only the short time it takes him to rid himself of it, and whoever ends up with the evil brown oblong thing is most severely beaten or driven into the margins of society, even if he makes the acquisition, as is desirable, at as great a distance as possible from where the original transgression against nature took place. Occasionally, however, the man who ends up with the tainted phallic object does evade punishment, and instead manages to escape into the zone of redemption, the end zone, the utopia of love without pain. In such instances, the result is often a virtual orgy of polymorphous perversity.
Be the girl at the wine shop? Nah, that never happens. This can't be. This is small. I never watched the arbitrary scene. Fuck it, baby. Back for Rise of the Ghost to Trace and Rise of the Monster to Trace Ghost.
Oh, come on, forget her. Exalt your solitude. Tear the condom off your soul. leave it closed. You and I are like IBM and Apple. Two versions of the same thing, but just as much the fundamental opposition, fundamental contradiction, the fundamental lie. IBM is good, it's live, it's on, it's male, it's positive, it's go, it's active, it's complex, it's square, it's me. Apple is round, it's negative, it's soft, it's passive, it's nothing, it's easy, it's mother. You, despite superficial appearances. Apple is evil, that's why they call it Apple. It's the apple which was never the knowledge of good and evil, but rather the temptation to accept the imbecilic fable. I reject it. IBM. I produce. IBM. Takes you right back to 2 years old, 1 year old, 6 months of self-assertion. IBM. I be male. I be man. I be macho. I be maker. I baby maker. I beast monster. I be movie murderer. I beam up. I be mum. I be mum. I be mum. International business machines are as countries, as is every society, as is language and mathematics and every form of thought as our world leaders. The earth is one international business machine. The world working class, including ourselves, consists of international business machines, driving international business machines to work, to work, to work, to work with international business machines. For the sake of the international business machines that make up the international business machines that make up the international business machines, or to shoot each other for the sake of our international business with international business machine guns. There is hardly any object one can contemplate which is not to be seen as an international business machine or part of one. But Apple. Machine that would be fruit. Tied forever with Newton's lying law of gravity, which was the second temptation, the second fall, to which Newton himself and all of the rest of us succumbed. Apple is the false union with the mother. IBM knows that it must go out and conquer. IBM truly impresses the mother. Apple disappoints the good mother, tells the bad mother that she still has her little boy. IBM is tools and weapons, it's corporate truth, it's serious. Apple is toys and daydreams, t-shirt slogans, bumper stickers, home businesses for men to waste their time and money on while their wives do jobs. Long live Apple. Long live Apple. Well, what do you think? I don't know. What do you think? So what do you think, Barney? Oh, sounds good to me, Fred. Death is merely the chemically delayed realization in time of the falseness of life. Yep, things are really moving forward for me. People are rocks and boards, Barney. Though you don't want to be too hard on the rocks and the boards. People are almost rocks and boards, just not as useful and rarely half as clever. Schopenhauer was right. If you asked a rock flying through the air, it would explain to you exactly how it chose of its own free will to be hurtling through space, no doubt to strike a board. What do you think? Are you a rock or a board? Rock or board, rock or board, rock or board, rock or board. Rock or board.
Just drive.
Things are really moving forward for me now, I tell you. The speed limit is 186,282 miles per second. We're almost there, we're almost there! All objects fall at different rates. El Salvador is the world's richest country, and I'm the handsomest man driving the streets of Hollywood. You're having a very satisfying and fulfilling relationship with a beautiful and sensitive, caring and supportive woman. moon isn't flat, it's sharp. You have a golden bridge in front of you, and all you have to do is walk over it to find success and happiness, even a little bit of fame. He who penetrates, penetrates not. You have a special destiny. You are a very special person, and everyone who meets you recognizes the fact immediately. Ah, we shouldn't talk, really. Why violate the beauty of this moment? Your future wife is starring in a porn movie right
Sparked me, I would have been a man for once, just a man for...
No, 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 no.
No. Shit. How am I gonna feel this way? How much longer? How much longer am I gonna face? No. Face.
What? Let's listen to one of my tapes.
No, please, no, no,
You hate me, don't you?
no. I hate this. Let's put the top down once in a while.
There is no point even in discussing the issue. I do not wish to repeat my explanation.
Oh, shut up.
Little buddy. Mr. Spark.
Call me by my name.
People call each other by their names so-so in order to appeal to higher moral laws in which I do not believe. To use another person's name is at once to apply coercion and to appeal for mercy. I would rather apply coercion sufficient in itself.
You are so fucking fucked up, man. It is disgusting.
Okay, Barney, I'll turn on the damn radio.
No, I don't care about that. I hate the fact that we're not talking. I mean, I hate talking with you. Listening to you is more like it. Every morning, every afternoon, 5 days a week, an hour and a half to work, an hour and a half back, 15 hours a week, 3 hours a day. Just like, man, I'm over it, man. I can't tell you, I spend more fucking time with you than I do with anybody else in my life. And just you and me in this fucking car together, man. I'm just so sick of it. I can't stand it anymore. And don't call me Barney!
Take the bus, Barn. You could read on the bus and listen to your non-music music. You don't have to talk with me if you hate me.
I don't hate you. The bus is 4 hours.
Get a different job.
They said they're gonna move me. I know, that's what they said when I began, but, you know, they've been saying that for months now, so.
Get a car.
I'm still paying off my student loan.
I know, you're a collection of dead ends.
No, what I hate about this is that I'm being with somebody this much. I can't stand it.
Take the bus, get a car, get a different job, find another ride. Yay, 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 yay. Wait until you're married. Though, actually, you and I do talk a lot more than my wife and I ever did.
He talks, I listen. I do hate him.
I think you do hate me.
No, I don't. I don't.
You do, and you should. I'm what you're going to become. That's why you're drawn to me, and that's why you hate me. It's fate that brought us together, and if you could rise above your suid youth, you'd see.
My what?
Suid youth. You swim in the sewer of your carnal desires. You don't speak, but rather vomit the raw results of your excremental self-consciousness. If you could rise above your suid youth, you'd learn to love your fate, which is to become the mirror image of whomsoever you might hate, in this instance someone better than yourself, for which reason you should actually rejoice.
No. Untrue, inaccurate. I will never be like you, believe me. And I do not hate you. I'll never be a big-mouth, self-obsessed, goddamn pig-ass, motherfucking, cock-sucking fuckwads.
I just know it. I have felt it. I have felt that you're like me. I can feel it precisely because you're like me, and I can feel that you hate me for the same reasons. You're too smart, but not smart enough. When I look at you, I know your life consists of fleeing from one mistake to another. Your only chance would be to do the opposite of what you ought to do, if you understand what I mean, but you won't. I can tell you won't. You're going to end up like me, commuting to your job and commuting back and getting, I'll put it in terms you should understand, bored shitless. Getting bored so fucking shitless. You'll shit fucking goddamn shit until finally you develop an ability to withstand boredom that you never knew you had. An ability beyond your wildest dreams. And then you'll get unbelievably bored and you won't notice it, and you'll be bored with being bored and grow numb to that, and finally, you'll find all kinds of unbelievably uninteresting things to be interesting. And suddenly you'll be 40, and suddenly you'll be 45, and then you'll meet some kid like you used to be, and you'll depress him with your unfortunate knowledge about his future, and it won't matter, it just won't matter, it won't matter.
What gives you the power of prophecy?
Purity and solitude. Over the coming years, everyone, including you, will grow ever more intensely paranoid, crazy, disappointed and machine-like. The earth will be for the most part exhausted, if managed to some extent, and those of us who have quit smoking and are not too terribly overweight will have the option of emigrating to uncomfortable outer space quarters to begin the next and exceedingly unhappy stage of our essentially pointless evolution.
You don't know that. You don't know the future, and you don't fucking know me. I feel shitty today. I mean, I feel really shitty. I think it's over between me and Tracy. I'm feeling, you know,
That was a real loser relationship from the beginning. Like me, you're learning too late the dignity of spirit and strength of will to overcome your essential loser nature. I'm so glad you're finally opening up. Now we can have a pleasant talk.
It's not working out for you and things aren't going to change. It probably won't work out.
It's over.
I think you said that already. As I can tell, the whole thing is consistent mostly of it being over.
I'd love to.
We met the day the Berlin Wall came down, and I thought to myself, we'll see how the walls are coming down.
Ha ha! All of them, every single one. Hey, mister, you see my dog?
I mean, now whenever I watch the news, I feel like it's a fucking personal attack. I mean, I just thought things were going to work out, you know? I just wanted her too much, you know? She was too beautiful. That was the problem. I mean, for a little while, you know, I just thought things were just gonna work out for me, you know, like they could really work out for me, you know, and I just like, I had this vision, you know, that like everything was just gonna be really, really good for me, you know.
Happy home, regular sex, split rent, reading the paper together on Sunday mornings. You start with the sports. The remarkable aspect of it all is that a young man without prospects, without a car, with no sense of personal style, that you got anywhere at all with her or anyone.
No, I thought that she would, you know, help me sort out my life. You know, I thought she was a woman who instead of looking for a ready-made man, would help me make who I am a better person. That's just who I thought she was.
I'm sorry.
You sympathetic, girlish men. You look for attractive women who are bright enough to observe how they've been treated by the world as objects. But instead of showing the gratitude for your sensitive treatment which you naively expect, they see in you the opportunity to take revenge against all the others through you, because despite your willful self-emasculation, you remain a man to them and want to still play the man. Sooner or later, you'll either grow tired of the whole thing or you'll be toughened enough to go ahead and give them the abuse they expect, making of your shared loneliness a perfect vacuous torment, for which you would sacrifice anything, instead of this recurring realization that breaks through your occasional illusions of potential satisfaction.
Can you just fucking pretend you're human?
I'm so very sorry to hear this sad and unexpected news. I know how hard it must be for you. I'm sure that deep down she cares for you very much, but things just couldn't work out. It happens in life. There will be other women for you, I know it, and soon you'll forget all about Tracy. You'll have another face to see in your mind, in the same place that you see hers. But instead of giving you pain, it'll give you pleasure, joy. It will be great.
Where are we going?
It's a gas station.
We were just at one.
I decided to fill up the tank, and in truth, I need to urinate as I didn't quite finish the first time. It is the time of urination. Do you want anything? Sure?
No, shit. No, fucking damn. Fucking damn. How much longer? How long? How much longer? Face is good. Damn face. Damn shit. Damn shit. Shit. Definitely took the wrong music today.
All life forms are symbiosis of previously existing separate entities. Some believe that life originated in the symbiosis of two previously distinct chemical processes. Microscopic self-replicating oil bubbles providing the housing, protein molecules providing what later became DNA. Human life is a difficult symbiosis between two fundamentally divergent entities called man and woman. In genetic terms, the XX and the XY, which, though they resemble each other, outwardly remain absolutely incomprehensible to each other. Find this funny?
No. Yeah. I don't know. What'd you do, figure all this out after your divorce?
During the breakup of a bad marriage. It involves a stripping away of all surfaces. Not just a stripping to the bone, but a stripping of body from spirit, of spirit from spiritlessness, a stripping of life from death. You and I and IBM, we BM, long live IBM.
Long live IBM. Thank you.
You want to do it again?
No, it's not necessary.
You sure? Okay, how about let's cheer long live IBM together? Yes? No? Okay. You cheer long live Apple, I'll cheer long live IBM.
No.
Well, what if I put a tape? Got a great new one.
No. Please. No.
All right. Maybe we should just take a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Good.
Yeah.
break. Silence, break. Okay, fine,
just
good,
relax.
yeah. Tangled, beige, silk bra. Finally, just relax. Beige, tangled, silk, nipple. Struggled her above me. Soft breast, hand. Struggled her above me, kissing. I like your touch.
I like your touch.
I like your touch. Underskirt, blouse, red t-shirt. Undershirt, blouse, red t-shirt, silk bra band.
You can leave anytime you want.
Things are really moving forward for Rambo and Born on Fourth. Same movie. Humanity starts with a family. Nietzsche already noted that many souls inhabit same soul, many minds in the same mind. Each one a little idiot asshole. Oh, just shut up. Just shut up. Drive. Just drive. 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 Draft 12, draft 3, draft 4, number 14, draft 5, 15, draft 6, 16. I have felt that you're like me. I can feel it precisely because you're like me, and I can feel what you mean. That romantic violin crap. Military breakup. Break up of a band.
Sure, she's going on with her life. You're going on and thinking about her. She's going on with her life.
The stripping of life, the stripping of life, the stripping of life from death.
You can leave anytime you want. Not tonight. Maybe some other time. If I could handle a relationship with you.
I have felt that you're like me. I can feel it precisely because you're like me. When I look at you, I know your life consists of fleeing from one mistake to another. End up like me, getting bored, so fucking shitless. You'll be bored with being bored, grown up to that. Finally, 40. Suddenly you'll be 45. And then it won't matter, it just won't matter. It won't matter.
Number 160, draft 60 for 170.
The breakup of a bad marriage involves a stripping away of all surfaces.
Stripping away
Not just a
of
stripping
all
to the bone,
surfaces, not
but a
just
stripping of
a
body
stripping
from
to the
spirit.
bone, but a stripping of body
Spirit
from
from
spirit,
spiritlessness.
of spirit from spiritlessness,
Stripping of life from death.
stripping of life from death.
Relationship should ask him what makes him so sure it's better with than without. He doesn't know that woman.
My wanting her and her seeming to offer more than she can.
I know what I have to do, but I can't.
Bitch.
I can imagine one of us sleeping with someone else.
Bitch.
I just want to drift.
Bitch.
Carol or Karen or Carol, who cares? Karen, uncaring woman, no sex, sexless thing about. You're not a man, she
I'd rather have nothing than be sleeping with someone.
Bitch.
I know what I have to do to make things work out, but I
Life
can't.
is good. Life is really good. Life is fucking good. Bitch, 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 bitch.
Woman.
Bitch, bitch. Long live IBM! Long live IBM! Long live IBM! Long live IBM!
Call it. Let's talk, okay?
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Anything, what do you want?
Anything. I don't care anything. Let's just talk. Let's just have a live talk. I just want to talk, not one of your pieces. Just live speaking.
How's the family?
Don't want to talk about it. It's too real.
How's the screenplay?
Not real.
All right. Okay.
Do you ever think about just not braking, about just keep driving when the traffic stops?
Always. Pornography is for people who maintain an ideal conception of love. The sex act depicted as essentially ideal is enjoyed by attractive athletes. Spontaneous, skilled, tireless, corresponds to a conception of sex that, unfortunately enough, is as rarely borne out by experience as our ideal conceptions of love. The contortions of a ménage à trois and the art of courtly love would seem as far removed from each other as possible within the same general realm of human activity, would seem to represent opposite poles, the north and south of the erotic. But the Waldemar who clings to the quest for his perfect toe may be the same individual continually frustrated and driven to seek satisfaction in a physical relationship with miniature images.
Who the fuck are Waldemar and Tove?
Harry Reams and Marilyn Chambers.
They say most porno women are forced to do it out of drugs and violence and poverty.
Just like most girlfriends.
We said live speaking, and you did one of your things.
Well, you didn't have anything to say.
So we could speak about speaking.
Speak about speaking.
You start.
Speaking, talking, we use our mouths use us. I think that all talking happens in the interest of talking. The vocal apparatus and the talking system of the brain enter an alliance and try to seize power, and temporarily everything else tries to join in, and then one feels pleasure about it for a time. Most talking tries to make more talking. Talking is an end in itself to talking.
You know what? I've decided that actually it's better that Tracy rejected me, because I was acting like such a weakling, and if she continued validating me, then she'd be validating a weakling.
That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. The AIDS crisis is the greatest thing that ever happened to our society. Not the disease, the crisis. It's not that homosexual men and sexually promiscuous individuals and people with blood not up to snuff and drug addicts, poor people, deserve to die horribly, any more or less than anyone else, present company excluded. The real mystery is how intimately tied extreme suffering is to any advance in social freedom, no matter how small, and no matter how much accompanied by ridiculous stupidity.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the education of a democracy despite itself. The Vietnam War and the small good that came out of the 60s. Sectors of the educated stratum doing psychedelic drugs and demanding apocalypse until they find out just how vacuous they were. Pantomiming revolution, partying until late, sleeping in their own vomit for the whole decade that followed.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I was brought up in that vomit.
Well said. In the 80s, the liberation of consciousness that came from AIDS education, the liberation of speech, admitting that the 8-year-olds could speak of... I'll start again. In the 80s, the liberation of consciousness that came from AIDS education, the liberation of speech, admitting that 8-year-olds can speak of anal intercourse for their own good, for instance. My most intense sexual experience of last year was hearing a local news anchorwoman discussing the latest finding on oral sex. I've come to think that the religious right, the forces of censorship and ignorance have been driven crazy, first by intoxication with a sense of victory from seeing the actual deaths of their enemies, but then by the defeat inflicted upon them through the alliance of the political radicals and the HIV virus. And thus, more recently, the attempt to suppress obscene art, as though any image can be obscene, when the scene that's already been literally, and I do mean literally, obliterated by nationwide, all-night, Star and Dr. Call-in shows, by microbiotical puppet shows with simultaneous translation into sign language and Spanish, obliterated again and again as by those anti-AIDS hygiene circulars sent in the mail from our former Surgeon General in his silly sailor suit and funky beard, and the mailboxes and through the doorway slits of every household in America.
HIV virus, informational, pseudo alive, fear, hatred, fearful, self-hatred of sick, sexually different, poor, unlucky.
Say that. Just say that. Just say that for me.
Moving forward.
The right always defeats itself when it goes after the left wrong.
Abortion. Somewhere some young woman is having an abortion because she won't bring up a child in a world full of right-wing anti-abortion activists whose God on the cross is God aborting himself.
In a competitive society,
Yes. You're mine.
anyone unable to compete with everyone else or who harms their position stands for the bad is the bad. But everyone knows that the good is unnecessary. And the only reason the bad does anything good is to make the bad the worst bad. Bad enough to do good.
Not a competitive society, a competitive universe, a universe at war with itself. To the winners belongs reality.
The HIV virus is the same as the fear of the different. Unlucky. The virus is as much information as it is alive. It's a protein message, a biological lie. It equals the intellectual idea, the problem of living, the problem of evolving, evil, life. The right wants to be the white blood cells in the political body and immune system of speaking it.
The virus is always fatal. For the religious right, the gay lifestyle, San Francisco, the village, the single seam and all that is leaking herpes on the mouth of America. An obnoxious, reappearing ugliness.
Which is how the right looks to its enemies. The body's immune system needs to continually produce new specific antibodies in order to fight off new specific diseases. And then we get religious fundamentalists attacking sexual chaos. And then we end up with AIDS fundamentalists attacking the diseases of willful ignorance. Or are they imitating the virus attacking the social immune system for the sake of bodily immune systems? I don't know. What am I driving at?
Well, I'm not certain. Well-known television evangelist, maybe.
Jimmy Swaggart. Jimmy fucking Swaggart jerking off to a prostitute. The guy practices safe sex and his life gets destroyed. AIDS threatens total thought control, while it enforces even greater body control. Am I making sense?
I love you.
I have felt that you're like me. I can feel it precisely because you're like me, and I can feel it.
130, draft 60, number 11.
Oh, Carol, who cares? Karen, uncaring woman. The breakup of a bad marriage involves a stripping away of all surfaces. Not just a stripping to the bone, but a stripping of body from spirit. Of spirit from spiritlessness. A stripping of life from death.
Stripping of life from death.
Draft 61, draft 62, 130, draft 63, 114, draft 64, draft 65, 60, draft 64, draft 67, 119.
If only he'd helped me out a little bit, but Snot's never been married. He thinks he wants a relationship. Should ask him what makes him so sure it's better with than without. He doesn't know that. Woman. I have felt that you're like me. Yes.
Draft 73, draft 74.
You idiot!
Oh, it's nothing.
What are you doing? Pull over!
It's just a tap.
What if we got whiplash?
From that?
Hey, sue the bastard.
Are you serious?
Whatever. Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Oh, the idiot.
What?
He wants me to pull over.
Well, just take off. Let's go.
No, I can't. It's illegal. I tell you, we'll just, what we'll do is we'll just say everything's okay. There's already a dent in the car and not to worry.
Oh, shit. Put up the window. Here he
It's
comes.
okay. It's all right. Don't worry about anything.
Are you in a hurry?
What?
What the fuck are you trying to get away with?
What?
What the fuck are you trying to get away with?
Look, I don't know what you mean or what you want, but you're acting very self-destructively. Now go away.
Fuck you!
He pushed my face.
You think you should get some witnesses?
No, we're just going on.
Yeah, but you could get
This whole thing didn't happen, period.
You could get the guy's license
Nothing
plate.
happened, period. When you look deeply into a woman's eyes, you see dollar signs. If you cleared your eyes, and if when you looked into a woman's eyes or a man's eyes, into any eyes, into the mirror, you saw necessity, you wouldn't waste your time in trite self-pity and fantasy trying to still. You are ashamed of yourself, of your shitty life. You could instead wear your professional-lessness, unrootedness, your temporary status like the white robe of your ascension instead of the condom over your shell. What the hell's wrong with you?
You are unbelievable. Some insano just smashed your mirror, and you just sit there and do one of your stupid pieces. One that I've heard 1,000 fucking times by now.
I've been working on it. I just added the line about the condom.
I don't want to hear it! What the hell is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing right with me.
There is a lot wrong with you, man. You are a total fucking cynic. You are a fucking sexist, racist, reactionary...
I'm not an anything-ist. I just drive. I'm not an anything-ist. I'm not a sexist.
I'm not a sexist. I'm not a racist. But I'm not an egalitarian either. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not middle of the road. I'm not forward-looking. I'm not backward-looking. I cannot locate my own interests, a condition which makes for a poor cynic rather than, as you put it, a total one. I'm not even an atheist, really. But I'm not an agnostic, nor do I believe. I collect my thoughts. They fill me up. Words spill out. And I pass over them, on and again and again. And on I just drive until I stop. Then I'm a parker. Then I'm a worker. Then I'm a driver again. And then I'm home. I'm not anything at all. I'm not a good worker. But I'm not a bad worker. I'm not a conformist. And I'm not a non-conformist. I was raised a European, but I'm not one any longer. And yet I'm not an American either. I'm of two countries, and no country. I'm not a philosopher, and I'm not vacant. I'm not brave, and I'm not a coward. I'm not sane, and I'm not mad. I'm not angry, and I'm not adjusted. I'm not happy, and I'm not depressed. I'm not alive, and I'm not dead. I'm not a good driver. I'm not a bad driver. I'm not original. I'm not unique. I'm not interesting. And I'm not boring. I'm not brilliant. And I'm not stupid. I have a few unusual tics, perhaps one or two quite unusual tics, but that's quite normal.
Just drive.
You temps are the chosen people of the post-war era. Unfree rovers of the administered society, middling menials for a mediocre world. So, all your relationships are temporary, just like your relationship with me. Why don't you just accept it?
I'm sorry about being so obsessed with Tracy this morning. You know, these last few weeks, I know it hasn't made me good company.
You're sorry?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
A
Okay, I suppose I could try to be a little bit more understanding.
Let's just not talk about it, all right? I mean, unless you really want to.
No, it's fine.
Look, I mean, I know that your pieces are very important to you. Is there some way maybe I could be more helpful?
This is turning into a very unusual morning.
No, I'm serious, really. How could I be more helpful?
Well, you could ask some questions. How do you expect them to understand the difficult terms if you don't ask questions?
All right, it's just that I've heard all this before, so...
That's not true. I'm always changing them in important ways. I just this morning made up the one about driving to work together, though it obviously still needs some work. But sometimes when I recite one of my pieces, something occurs to me. I won't say spontaneously. You know what I think of what people call spontaneity, and how my whole approach to life is built around avoiding what people call spontaneity in favor of what I'm willing to call creativity. Anyway, sometimes, as for instance this moment, when I recite a thought, a new thought or piece of thought comes to me, and I insert it right there, and sometimes we'll just let it go, won't try especially hard to remember it, because sometimes I will just let something go.
But doesn't that contradict your mission?
My only mission is to drive, but I have been wondering about this a lot lately. Why do I ever just let things go? No thought is lost from the chain of cause and effect, the concatenation of karma, which is always bad and never only instant. But there might be thoughts that are most nearly lost, would be the most valuable if no longer quite the same. Thoughts which are to cause and effect as cause and effect are to randomness. Thought which are, I use the word provisionally, magic in a way. I have to assume that my best, most moving thought, maybe this one for instance, the one thought with which I might think myself out of this thinking into some indescribable, better freedom onto the true freeway, that one thought will be precisely the thought I don't remember later, can't use or think later. Probably that thought is the one thought that in being thought immediately thinks itself out of what I know or can know, leaves you and me behind. Escapes the car and the freeway. It is to the car as the car is to stillness. It is to the freeway as the freeway is to a higher one. That the one truly spontaneous thought or image or thought image.
What? What? What about it?
What about what?
What about the one truly spontaneous thought, image, or thought image? What about it?
The problem is that which exceeds reality, reality revenges itself upon by making unreal. Upon that which exceeds reality, reality revenges itself by making unreal. By making unreal, reality revenges itself upon all that exceeds reality. All that which reality reality revenges itself upon all that exceeds reality by making it unreal.
You know what? We should make a movie. A movie that's to other movies, like movies are to... No, a movie that's to other movies, like life is to death.
Death is between us and life. Impossible.
No, I'm serious. We should.
I've got other things on my mind at this precise moment.
Why don't you just piss in your mug? That way you won't need a refill. Close the circle.
Okay.
We should make a movie. A real movie. We could write the screenplays on our drives every day.
Got $1 million?
Yeah, it's a great camera.
Not even a camcorder?
No, film. It should be on film.
It's a gruesomely pitiful idea.
We should just film some stuff. No big deal. Show it to some friends.
I don't have anything. You want to make a movie about our drives?
Yeah. Come on, they're the highlight of your stupid fucking life.
America's saddest home video.
Film.
I like your touch.
I maintain that Rambo and Born on the 4th of July are the same film. And RoboCop and Die Hard and Die Harder and Batman. Every other white man movie. While women and people, as the odious phrase goes, of color, try to ready their as yet undefined project, the white man, politically and culturally restrained from reveling in his privilege, imitates the disfigurement he's inflicted upon all others, but turns that disfigurement into the means and symbol of his continued dominance. Military entertainment complex.
Exactly. This is the totally blank and box-like ugly squat place where we make spaceships and fighter planes and satellites and missile guidance systems and whatever.
I'm against the environment. Two white men encaged in steel and glass, drowning in a sea of steel and glass and dirty air, utterly confined, strapped in, moving forward motionlessly, only in order to come back later speaking lost words about being lost, while at the same time driving along
exactly where they ought to be and are expected to be, where they will recur, where they will continue, never enough anywhere in particular to be located except in precisely. And this is... without going anywhere.
We're going to be late. We're going to be very late.
Good. I'll just blame it on you.
I thought you got paid by the hour.
Whatever, I don't care. I mean, we could take an alternate route, right?
There is no alternate route. Every alternative is worse than every other alternative.
What about the freeway?
No.
Whatever, you're the driver. Hey, you know what? I think now that we're in showbiz, we should put the top down and enjoy ourselves. What do you think?
Don't even think about it.
We should put the top down. We should put the fucking top down. We should put the top down. We should put the top down. We should put the fucking top down. Put the top down. We should put the fucking goddamn top down. Goddamn, we should put the fucking damn top down. Goddamn, we should put the damn top down. We should put the top down.
Forget it.
Smoking is the greatest joy in life. Everybody should smoke. Whoever doesn't smoke is a self-righteous asshole. Smoking, pleasure. Should never have quit. Smoking doesn't cause cancer. Cancer causes smoking. Now wanting to quit smoking causes cancer. Bitch, so you won. Bitch. So you killed me. Well, fucking congratulations, bitch.
I'm so glad to see that you're smoking again.
Would you like one?
No, unfortunately, I never learned the pleasure.
I feel fucking great. Tomorrow, I'm gonna bring my camera, we'll start trying things out. We'll make a test. Actually, we'll be doing 2 films. One will be on Super 8, and my screenplay will be a whole other film altogether. A real movie. Of course, I'll do the writing. Maybe you could put in one of your little pieces. Yeah, maybe you could. It's not hard.
We won't be driving together anymore.
Okay.
It's too unusual to be driving with someone every day. I'm losing touch with my atomization. I need to be just one more anonymous commuter burning fossil fuels, alone with his fantasies, bored and angry. You interrupt my thinking.
Sounds reasonable to me. Fine.
When we first started driving together, I thought that if I did my carpooling with a temp, then after the pressure was off, I could be by myself again. I was right, although I do feel ridiculous for ever having taken the whole thing seriously. I'm sorry.
I said fine. It's fine. Whatever.
Being with someone else makes me lonely.
Whatever.
I know it'll be inconvenient for you.
They say they're gonna move me, so I'll find a job, get a car. It'll be better for me.
I don't expect we'll be friends.
Yeah, well, neither do I.
Can you get the bus home today?
Sure.
Good.
The highest pleasure is to kill while being killed.
While being killed. He's mine now.
He's mine now.
Gone.
He's gone. And now that I've destroyed
another man, I can be reborn. Does he even know
that I've destroyed him? It is so fine to sever connections with another human being. The only good reason to learn to know, learn to like, learn to love anyone is to re-experience this pleasure of murdering him or her or them from your existence.
Pushed his face and just kept on talking. I just wished I could share with Trace. Just call and say hi. Hey, how you doing? I don't know. What was going on last night? Hi. How are you?
Sexual relationship right now. I'm sorry, okay? I don't feel the same way any longer. I just don't feel it. I just don't feel like I'm talking to you right now. I don't know. I feel it. I can't feel it. Why do I right now?
You can leave anytime you want. Not tonight. Maybe some other time. If I could handle a relationship, it would be with someone like you, so it means nothing personal. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not normally this rude, but for some reason with you, I just can't help it. I'm sorry. I guess I can't handle a relationship right now. I'm sorry right now. I'd rather have nothing than be sleeping with someone. I just decided not to doubt anything. I don't feel a doubt about you anymore. Maybe I like to sleep alone. I have a little trouble sleeping with someone. I can't deal with this now. We'll have to talk about it some other time. I just can't handle this. Maybe some other time. I don't really care. Why don't you just tell me?
I love you, Trace.
I'm sorry.
Number 23, draft 12. Breaking off with the object of one's intense affections may lead one to adopt certain of the other's qualities. Perhaps those qualities which through their attractiveness or through their repulsiveness or both...
You know where I can get a cheap VCR?
What?
You know where I can get a cheap VCR?
No, I do not.
You are a reptile. That's how I'll always think of you. One dead lizard.
And you are a very special person. What? The Earth is the seventh planet from the sun.
I can speak if I want to. I don't care anymore about any of this. I've had it, and I've lost it, and I've had it, and I've lost it, and it just doesn't matter!
Shut up. Can't escape. Just go. You're gone. And if you come back, just go again. Just go. Just drive, drive, drive. Just drive. Drive, 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 drive. Drive, 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 drive.
No, I wanted her. She gave and then she took away. She pulled me in just far enough to kill me and then she just pushed me out.
You pulled yourself in. She made it clear from the beginning she did not desire you in the way you wanted her to.
You don't understand.
Was the sex so good or something? I have the impression there wasn't very much of that.
No, I'm sorry I ever told you anything about that. I really am.
I don't care anyway.
We had sex. Intercourse. I penetrated her. Once. It's all about penetration, you know. Technically, it was the worst sex I'd had since high school. At the time, I thought it was beautiful.
I could play another tape.
No, I'm going to tell you the story now. I'll tell you the story the one time that Tracy and I made love. I mean, fucked. Sort of fucked. I'll tell you about it since you won't be able to use it against me in the future. Telling you is sort of like telling nobody.
Is this going to be erotic?
Hardly. I don't think so. Hey, maybe you can use one of your pieces sometime. So everything sort of came together. It was my day of penis, I like to think of it. That's what I like to call it, my day of penis.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I shouldn't tell you after all. For all mankind. For all mankind. We went out to see that Moonshot documentary, For All Mankind. They were showing it near my house. And you see the astronaut sitting in his spacesuit, the utterly neutered, enclosed man, the little sexless baby in his space placenta. And then you cut to shots of the phallus. The great white for all mankind cock about to take off into outer space, and you just can't help but thinking to yourself that this whole thing is about the phallus. This whole thing is about the penis. For all mankind. I mean, there's no women astronauts. The name of the program is that of a male god, Apollo. Anyway, the thing is, it's all very beautiful, you know, the transformations of space and physics that are taking place in weightlessness. I could, like, if we were in space, just flick this cigarette at you. and it would flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop right over to you. Of course, none of the astronauts smoke, but the point is, it's all good. It's all amazing. Anyway, everything is so good, you know, you don't want to get up. You don't want to miss it. And meanwhile, this astronaut is telling us these funny stories about the moon trips. And this one astronaut says to the other one, we were in the LEM on the dark side of the moon, and we're ready to make our link up with a command module after taking off. And the other astronaut says, oh, do you want to take the controls now? And the guy says, well, I don't know how they'd like that down at Mission Control. And he says, well, we're all the way on the other side of the moon. I mean, nobody's going to know, right? And then another astronaut is telling a story about a dream he had on the moon, about running into two other astronauts there.
You and me.
Right. So anyway, you know, it's going on and on like this, and it's all great, and I'm sitting there, and I realize that I have to piss. And, you know, it was funny, because when I was walking to the theater, I even looked over at the men's room longingly and said, nah, forget it. I mean, I even said that. No, I was 2/3 of the way through, and I really had to go, you know. So I decided, fuck it, I'd just sit there and see how long I could stand it. I'd see whether or not I could resist pissing, no matter how overwhelming the urge was. And of course I couldn't, so I had to get up and take a piss, and I went and I did. And I came back and sat there and enjoyed the rest of the movie. So the movie's over with, and, you know, she liked it a lot. Her parents hadn't thought it necessary or interesting for her to watch the moon landing when she was a kid, and she always felt, you know, a sense of loss because of that, because, I mean, you know, she was brought up in Massachusetts where, you know, there are all these communists there, you know. The money should be spent on poverty and something, and needs on earth kind of shit, human needs, you know, so. So anyway, she liked the movie a lot, and then she acted very nice, and she made me dinner, we watched the news, and me, especially, as usual. I felt like a husband, and she had to read this screenplay that she was working on, and she ended up working on later.
About what?
About this woman vampire who wants to become human, written by a man, with these sex scenes Tracy thought were stupid. You know, the woman vampire manipulates so-and-so's penis off-screen kind of scenes.
Does it work? Does the vampire woman become human?
Probably. I don't know. I'm not sure. Stop interrupting.
I'm just trying to get it right. Please go ahead.
So she's reading the screenplay, and I was reading a book. Are you still following?
Yes.
I was reading this book of short stories from the Semiotext collection of science fiction. You remember when I was reading that? And the one story I had still to read was the last story in the book, and it was about this spaceship that was flying through outer space, and it was set in a future period when the Earth had passed through this anti-sexual, anti-love sector of space, and so they have taken all the most sexually proficient people, and you know, the people with the highest sexuality quotients, and they've put them on a spaceship together, built just like a penis, to go search for the zonality where sex is good and love is good, where there is eros. You know? So I'm sitting there and I'm reading this totally sexy story about a space penis, and everyone's having all of this futuristic sex. And finally she finishes reading, and we get together and we start making out, and we decide to go to my bedroom, and you know, it's the first time and everything. I put on a condom, and putting the condom on, you know, was a major statement. And we had been making out so much before without even having sex, and she felt a hesitation about intercourse, and I'd been building up to it, you know. And, I mean, today was for all mankind, and it was like there we were on the other side of the moon. No one was ever going to know about it. And as I put on the condom, I said, of course, what's silly is when you use these things and you're not used to them, and then you don't even come. And she said, I hope you do. And I said, oh, how nice of you. And we made love, and it was very weird, and she was mostly still and dreamy. She looked like a frightened animal.
Which she was.
She looked like a frightened animal.
And for good reason.
She looked like a frightened animal when I looked down on her. She had like these frightened little deer eyes, and her legs were together and mine were on the outside, and I had never done it like that before. And then we had just started, and I felt her drifting, and she said, I don't know what to do now. And I said, well,
do whatever you want. Tell me what you want. And she didn't do anything, and she didn't say anything. She didn't make a sound. And I thought, well, this is the first time we have sex. Maybe it's not so good, but just enjoy it for being with her. Just enjoy it for what it might promise. And so we hugged, you know, embraced a lot, and finally I was on top of her and I was fucking her. I'd already held back from coming just before that, and I just lost it. I'd gone numb and I couldn't feel anything more through the condom, so I stopped. I reached over and I stroked her from her neck to her stomach, and she was very lovely laying there, and I did it again, and I was looking into her eyes, and you know, we made jokes to each other about ha ha ha, you know, sometimes once is enough, and it was only, you know, the only time we would do it, and ha 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 ha, and all that. And that's how it turned out. I had my day of cock, and we never got close again after that.
Finish the story.
That's it.
No, it's not.
What, I threw the fucking condom in the trash can in the bathroom, and that's it.
Finish the story.
You know the ending. We broke up. It's over. What?
That's the epilogue. But after she left, when you were by yourself, when you were in peace, so to speak, you...
Yeah, of course I did.
And?
What are you driving at?
How was it for you?
It was like it always is.
Oh, come on, we're beyond that.
No, it was nothing special. It kind of hurt.
You did it because you had to, more or less. You wanted to, but more than that, you had to.
Yeah, I guess. So what?
When she was gone in peace, you came in peace for all mankind.
Oh, God, I came in peace for all mankind. Fine, I thought of that already. I was gonna keep it to myself. It's a stupid pun. It's really funny. Makes me sad.
That's the story. Your life in the story and the story in your life.
Now, 172, draft 4. We are now fighting and have been fighting what will be, if we lose it, the last battle of history. If we allow women to push through to what they and their pitiful allies call equality, then it will be nothing other than their unquestionable sexual tyranny dominating all aspects of what will no longer be a civilization worthy of the name. A situation where we males revert once again to status as a gene pool populated by inferior, superfluous numbers of males, and they'll select their favorites from among us, those few necessary to keep their eggs continually fertilized, and the rest of us will go without sex and be used up in labor camps and war. The radical women and radical feminists who say all of that technology is being developed just so men can take control of birth and rationalize the process are completely right. For this very reason, we must, at every opportunity, move genetic engineering and birth control forward.
I don't like that one.
Maybe I don't much either. There's something there, though.
Everything comes together. But not for our sake at all. It just does. You malfunctioned. You're telling me about your day of the penis. It's inevitable you would tell me, but the fact you would tell me proves I'm right about you. You will never be happy. You will never be happy.
You will never be happy. You will never find release because you want release so much you have become an endless releasing. Your life has no truth to it, like mine. No content to release. I wanted to kill you, but you're already dead. You look for death everywhere and are dead. You malfunction. Your sex was already your climax, your conclusion. Instead of having an orgasm, you jerked around and came yourself. Yourself became the ejaculation from your penisoid life. If you had had an orgasm, maybe you wouldn't have told the story, but if you could have had the orgasm, the story wouldn't have happened. Because you did not love her and she did not love you. There was no love. Sexual love is about finding someone it's good to be a machine with. You malfunction. You malfunction. Body as leaking machine, body as altar, condom as ritual object, icon of a modern cult of Venus, but love made objective. Penis as rocket ship, condom over penis. The imposition of the artificial, the mechanical on the human, which explains why killers laugh. Why the assassin's greatest accomplishment is to kill without joy. And why the victims come to laugh. I once read about starving Cambodians heaped together awaiting execution, laughing about the comical deaths of their cousins in the other heap. The victims learn to laugh. They do. We do. Killers and victims at once, we laugh our heads off. Because laughter is already dying. Fun is dead. Death is impassable. Impassable is laughing, is between us as victims, is impossible, is malfunction, is malfunction.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Everything. Do you want to drive?